time again for another preview of Kitchen Garden Revival. Today we are at the end of section 1. We're in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Fill. So chapter 4 is about filling your kitchen garden with soil and with water. Now this is a part where I think my book really is different from a lot of other gardening books out there. So one of the themes I teach you inside this chapter is think about nature. In this book, I talk about how when I first started gardening, I would head to the gardening store and all these products were there for me to buy, but I didn't understand what any of them were. And most of them use words that I could hardly pronounce, like vermiculite and perlite. And there were all these products promising miracles and things that could happen overnight or were a for sure thing. And honestly, all the products really overwhelmed me. And possibly they overwhelm you too. Now, a lot of gardening books out there give you a soil mixture that includes things like peat moss and vermiculite and perlite. And in my book, I talk about not using those things and instead just thinking about nature. So in chapter 4, I walk you through my perfect or almost perfect soil mixture. And guess what? It doesn't include anything that you can't pronounce. In fact, it's all pretty simple stuff. It's stuff from nature. So my hope is that we can move away from less sustainable products like peat moss and perlite and vermiculite. A lot of those products are really not sustainably used. And the more that we mine those and use them in our gardens, the less that those things can remain in nature where they belong. So in my book, you're not going to find a lot of words that you can't pronounce. Instead, you're going to get a simple soil blend. You're going to get directions on how to set up the water in your kitchen garden. And it's going to be more than just a recipe. It's going to be a philosophy to think about nature. So when you start to see your garden as really just a small replica of what happens in nature on its own, it really takes away the overwhelm. And instead of having to head out to the store and buy the next best product, you can just kind of calm down, take a walk through a field or a forest, and be reminded of the fact that what's happening in these raised beds is actually just a little picture of what happens in nature. So if we just think about nature, then it's really not that difficult and you don't have to buy a lot of stuff from the store. Pretty cool, right? So chapter 4 is called Fill, and you're going to learn all the secrets of soil and water, and you're going to learn a way to look at soil and water in a very different way. A lot of people try to give you this definitely like one and done kind of perspective, and it's just not that simple because it's nature. So I know you're going to love this chapter, and I cannot thank you guys enough for pre-ordering this book. You pushed the orders so high on Amazon that there's already been, I think, an order for a second printing run on my book. So I want to thank you so very much. Now, if you have not pre-ordered, I want to encourage you to do so because from what I hear, the pre-orders are selling out pretty fast. And so if a bunch of people start ordering, there may not be enough for you to get yours on May 5th. So I'm not trying to like scare you or anything, but I would love for you to get the book when it comes out Tuesday, May 5th. So be sure if you're wanting this to go ahead and order it so it's in your mailbox in time. Yeah, and the other thing I thought about was Barnes & Noble typically is going to have this book in its stores, but because its stores are mostly closed, it would probably be really awesome for you to order this book online at barnesandnoble.com. Or you can order it from your local bookstore. I'm sure they could use the support right now too. So I want to thank you guys so much for helping me spread the word about Kitchen Garden Revival and just be a part of the kitchen garden movement. You guys came out to support me so much this past week when I let you know that someone had given a pretty bad review of my book. They said that it was like clickbait and too expensive and that they just wanted to see their grandma's gardens. Well, I have to tell you, you're not going to see your grandma's gardens in this book. You're going to see a new way of doing kitchen gardening. It's a modern way of doing kitchen gardening, and there's no excuses about it. So the subtitle is A Modern Guide to Creating a Stylish, Small-Scale, Low-Maintenance Edible Garden. So this is a modern guide. This isn't for grandmas. Well, actually my mom, who's a grandma, is super cool and she has a garden like this. So it's not like for grandmas like from a long time ago. But the grandmas that are living right now, this is definitely for you, because look how high this is. It's so much more comfortable to garden in. It's totally made for grandmas. Anyway, you guys showed up in so much support and you came to my rescue on Sunday on Instagram, and you guys, there are now over 100,000 followers here on Instagram. So I just can't thank you enough, really. Like, you brought me to tears, sending me pictures of your kitchen gardens and the things you've created because of hanging out with me here at Gardenary. So I just want to thank you so much for bringing back the kitchen garden with me. Don't forget to pre-order. We are less than 2 weeks out, so I'm going to have to hustle through because we got 4 more chapters to go. The next one is chapter 5, and it is my absolute favorite. I can't wait to tell you all about it. By the way, I'm trying to decide if I should sell this shirt in the Gardenary shop. Do you guys think so? Yes or no? Think about nature. I designed this one day when I was in quarantine. Yeah, it happens. Love you guys so much. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.